We'll also find out in picks and bans as well if they do decide to switch sides of the map too, because obviously those sides of the map can make a small influence in what kind of invasion you're going to look to do, as well as what kind of picks and bans you go for.
Barrage with the first pick, more than likely not really going to change much up of their strategies. They've been a very consistent team throughout this split, finding a lot of wins. Now, they did split against Excellence, so I'm still wouldn't be surprised if Excellence turns up in the second game.
They could turn up, but Barrage should be well aware of it too and make sure they answer back. I think this is an opportunity for Barrage too to say, okay, Excellence, you won one game, but it's not happening again.
No, they need to clean up, though, a little bit more with objective control after the early picks, potentially. They weren't able to really get those picks in the first game, but second game still basically a blank, clean slate for Excellence, and they need to forget about that first game and move on.
Well, a lot of respect to Predator's tier here from Barrage. It's the second time they've banned it in the first phase as well. And Susano from Excellence, recognizing prOxyQQ had an insane game on it that time round, so they banned that away from him, but it does leave him to now pick up Kuang.
He found a lot of double pulls from the Susano, which is very annoying on the opposing side of things when your jungler has that kind of a strong initiation. And now Excellence has a very nice synergy with this Odin-Zeus combination, but I'm afraid it's a little bit too early, I think, for this kind of picks.
And is it because of the Odin ring? Is you saying it's too early because, you know, a lot of people can just pick things that can escape it?
Exactly. I would rather wait on the Odin pick because you have the next pick before the third, fourth ban, so you could pick up the Zeus and maybe an Athena support, and then you can have the Odin to follow up.
I'll tell you what's surprising is Barrage just picked a Guan Yu into the Odin, even though they knew the Odin was picked.
They're very confident about their engages, and picking up the Bacchus is pretty standard against an Odin being able to get away from that Odin cage, and you're trying to engage on top of a Zeus and burst him down as quickly as possible. The double magical currently from Barrage is going to be very difficult for Zeus to handle because now he's going to have to build magical defense instead of this Dynasty Plate Helm and Breastplate of Valor.
But Excellence have opened up a window there with an Athena as well. Athena, Odin, and Zeus together is a very strong composition to burst somebody down in seconds, and even if they try and escape, make it very difficult for them to do so.
We saw Elexum playing a beautiful Zeus. You know, despite being tanky, he still did a lot of damage that game, so now Excellence making sure that they're the ones with the Zeus, and they're going to ban away the Giannis.
Yeah, no, a lot. Giannis available for Elexum to pick up. What do you expect to see him go for in the mid lane here? In response to the Zeus, we've no Raijin, no Giannis, no Scylla. We're going to go very deep into the god pool here.
Could be a potential hunter. Because you have a magical in the jungle, you're trying to synergize that. Neith is open.
I was going to say Sol, but I think that's a really good ban as well. Disapparate, able to get through the ring as well, but not going to be available. So they're really limiting the options down that you could actually see Barrage go for here in the mid lane. They've got to find something with escapability from that Odin ring as well, unless they try and chunk them down before they can even get to that team fighting stage.
Fourth pick coming on the side of Excellence currently. We'll see how they synergize with this aggressive composition. Going to be the Hu Yin to respond. Barrage could play this Neith again, whether it's going to be duo or mid. That's going to be the question.
Well, Neith's pretty useful with Kuang as well, to be fair. Kuang gets a lot of setup from that World Weaver available to him, and Neith with the backflip of able to escape the Odin ring if required. There it is locked in, and the final pick, well, they need a mid laner. They've no Sol, though. They could run another Hunter.
Kronos is available potentially to be picked up. We haven't seen it in quite a while. Freya as well as one of those magical hunters that could be potentially run.
It's going to be a Ravana for the solo lane instead, so that's...
It's going to be a very aggressive dual lane, so more than likely it's going to be Ravana solo. Maybe a Guan Yu Bacchus.
No, Guan or Ravana's mid here.
You think so? I think it would be Neith in the mid lane.
And Guan Bacchus?
Yes.
Ravana Bacchus?
I think it would be Guan Bacchus into the dual lane.
That Nemesis pick, though, at the end, I actually like that, especially when you've got 3 tanky targets very, very quickly on the opposition team. Shred those protections, get rid of some of that front line, and potentially burst them in response, especially when you've got a Zeus and Athena and an Odin to help set you up.
There's so much damage on the side of Barrage.
There is. There's a lot of damage, there's a lot of tankiness on the side of Barrage, too, but look at Excellence. They've got a lot of setup, a lot of bursts for the Hoagie and Zeus, and they're the two that you need to look to make sure you protect in these engagements, because Excellence could just go off of those two, the damage they could put out.
Called it.
You did.
It's going to be Guan Yu duo.
So Guan Yu in the Hunter role, Kuang in the jungle, and Ravana will be over in the solo lane for Watson. Interesting.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans all the time. So much shenanigans so that we don't even know exactly how they're going to start these buffs off at the beginning of the game. Expect relatively similar to what you'd normally see, but Bacchus, Guan Yu together. Interesting.
You remember Funball and Trickstank running those double warriors?
I do.
Those Thor Guan Yus, those Thor Sun Wukongs.
Those Herc Guan Yu, I believe, was another one as well. I mean, he used to always run Hercules for a while, but Guan Yu with the sustain and Bacchus with the setup, those two can put a lot of damage down this lane. But the army against the Ho-Yi and Athena, I actually think they have lane control here.
I would say so as well. They have double meditate trying to be very aggressively as well. This Bluestone Pennant is going to allow Jeroen to clear the way very quickly.
But no Vanguard. They could have both gone for Vanguard here and gone for the all-in plays. Chose not to, especially with double meditation. They could have all-in, but those meditations will pay dividends for them. Obviously, both of them do use quite a bit of mana in the early stages, as well as the health with the convictions will help them out even more. They could really dominate this lane with this, but it's very risky if something goes wrong here. I mean, Hunter is in mid lane, so just keep an eye on Elexum, who's going to have a lot of pressure early on. The good news is against a Zeus and a Nemesis, which is kind of difficult to collapse on a Neith early.
More than likely, Barrage are just going to be very patient in the mid lane and throw some World Weavers on the side of the duel lane. You have a World Weaver to set up a cavalry charge, more additional hits from that cavalry charge. That could be an easy kill. And right away, Excellence playing very careful, not even wanting to come close to this aggression from Barrage.
But notice what Barrage did there. They actually ignored doing that camp, the boars on this left-hand side, because they realized it would have taken them too long to do before getting the farm. So they pushed in the tower first of all. Now, well, they were thinking about it again, but they're like, no, we need to keep pressure in this lane. So they're keeping those boars available, but it is allowing Excellence in the dual lane to have a bit of an experience advantage right now.
And now both mid-harpies are being traded 1 for 1. However, Excellence could potentially look for an aggressive positioning. Unfortunately, Proxy uses Water Illusion out of the ring, and now it reset.
The minions come into play as well. The detonate not enough. If we would have seen Farleez found that second in hand, that was 2 on him that could have potentially spelt his death. Proxy will survive, but they'll lose the left-hand mid-harpies because of this.
But they're not going to start it quite yet. They want to be able to push this wave and not allow any breathing room for Barrage, because had they let Barrage push this mid-wave, then they would have been able to get the back right harpies. But now as a result, Excellence gets mid-wave. They can get the lefts, and they can invade if they wanted to.
Well, the wave on the duo side has evened out now. The balls were taken there by Barrage, but they're going to be on separate timers now. Meanwhile, Excellence in the mid lane and jungle role are going to invade the jungle, abusing the fact they got some free poke off on Proxy earlier on.
So instead of going for the left side mid-harpies, there is an invade onto those back lefts from Excellence. So beautifully done, and as well as being able to position themselves to clear this mid-wave before Barrage.
You know, I don't think they know those left harpies are available. I think they think those left harpies are down at the moment. That's why we've not seen Excellence go for them just yet. They think that that's what Barrage did and then found Proxy on the return from that.
Well, they're going to be in a really good position regardless, because now Lycan is level 5. He could look for the rotation on the right-hand side, as the Ravana is very aggressive on the right-hand side. And you're right, they don't know that the lefts were up, and Barrage are going to sneak them.
Clearly not, because otherwise they could have just taken them for free. And in the end, Barrage answered back and managed to find that small window where they could have been punished for a little bit more than they actually were at the end of the day. But quite comfortable at the moment is the Zeus and the Nemesis in the mid lane, getting the wave clear on just a little bit better than the Kuang Neith camp.
They still forced the purification earlier on from Proxy, so they could potentially find something there. There's about 70 seconds remaining as that comes up. Fire Giant Imps going in the favor of Barrage.
Yeah, and you can actually see, unfortunately, though, Watson did take those down before Proxy and Elexum could get there to soak a bit of that experience. It's not a lot, but it does add up and give you a little bit of gold for each of your teammates too. And instead, over to the dual lane. Or he's only level 4 here, but cavalry charges online for Jeron if he wants to use it. But after just using that Tele Assault, I don't think they're going to go all in.
Stun connecting onto Mr. Turtle, but not much follow-up without the belly flop. World Weaver is available for Barrage whenever they want to use it as well, so that could be something that they're looking for.
Good point. They could actually just go for the all-in potentially here onto HerpTheDerp on the Ho-Yi. Just hit him the World Weaver and have a cavalry charge and a Bacchus with the Intoxicate follow-up is very, very easily first kill.
What's interesting, though, also is Mr. Turtle's passive also absorbs the cavalry charge coming out of Jeroen, so have to be very careful about wanting to commit onto the Athena. It would be wiser, like you mentioned, to go onto Herp in response.
And just hope that maybe, but just maybe, you won't see Mr. Turtle getting in the way. Well, that dual lane from Excellence, the same dual lane we saw last game round in terms of picks. They didn't manage to make anything of it last time, and once again they're being pressured up against a Guardian Warrior combo.
A little bit of a slower start in this game compared to last. Normally at this time we saw that the First Blood and the Red Buff invade coming out of Barrage, but because of the earlier mishap on those left side mid-harpies with the reset, now prOxyQQ kind of slowly slowed down the game and now can't really find the aggression compared to last game.
And this kind of goes in Excellence's favor, because now they get the Athena coming to mid lane for the 3-man versus 3-man that you see about in this stage of the game. And with those taunts available, there's a lot of damage damage with Elexum being able to potentially get himself in an awkward position from the Chain Lightnings too if he gets tied.
Both soul laners are making the rotation as they're going to still box each other out, going to find the root. Taking a lot of damage as Predators, has to be very careful.
Good work from Watson there, just continuing to punch him down. Could actually find the kill if he wants to. And you can see Predators held that shield for just such a long period of time. They could have absorbed so much poke. But in the end, he's now going to be forced back to base.
Now, Bluestone Pendant doing a lot of damage. Electing to go for the damage over the sustain with the Death Toll is the Ravana, trying to make sure now he's going to be able to invade the blue buff in the solo side.
Well, Lycan is here though, and he's going to look to try and steal this one away, and Watson recognizes it, so taking free poke at the moment, and he's not going to be able to secure that for himself. Oh, he does secure it, I should say. Lycan missing that one off the mark, as Elexum did find a kill on HerpTheDerp, as HerpTheDerp found one on Jeron. Watson still under pressure here from Lycan as he's still chasing in, and with Athena now coming down too, as well as Predators on the way with this Odin, this could be a lot of pressure onto Barrage.
Dash not being used under the tower. The ultimate was down from Watson. That could have been an easy kill as the Zeus ultimate was available as he makes the rotation. So now there's going to be a counter blue buff invade on. Oh, it's going to be an aggressive jump.
The ring is down too, and there is Elexum. Sorry, I shouldn't say Elexum. It's Farleez on the Zeus this time round to pick up the kills and pick up the pieces. And now Elexum, so excellent, an opportunity here to go away with this.
Beautiful engagement, excellence, recognizing that those two members had no idea that Zeus was right around the corner. Farleez making a beautiful rotation with that Odin-Zeus synergy, making a statement very early on.
This Odin Zeus, and then you've still got the Athena taunts available too. The global rotation available from Athena is going to force an impact, and in fairness to everybody, Predators there with a big bird bomb that just caused so many issues for the side of Excellence. They didn't expect it.
Didn't even need the bird bomb, honestly, with that Zeus ultimate, making sure there was nowhere for Barrage to go, and with that 2 early kills for Excellence, this could potentially snowball them really heavily as long as they keep grouping up like this.
Well, they're still behind on gold though. That's the big one here between the two of them. They've not actually managed to find a much of a lead with those 3 kills, because most of the jungle was down. They lost the blue buff earlier on, so the blue buffs just cancelled each other out.
So Barrage, despite being behind a little bit in the kill card, they're up about 200 gold. They're trying to make an aggressive play into the Hu Yi.
And this is what I expected time and time again. Pick off the Hu Yi with the World Weaver coming out. Although he's done a good job of surviving for now, it's not going to be long enough to get away.
No, unfortunately not. The rotation from Excellence trying to find a counter kill, not going to be able to get there in time, so Barrage going to get out of there scot-free.
And Herb's just going to get focused all game, I think, is the big problem he's going to have. Because even if he's not there, look at the double meditation coming out there. It looks like Barrage may be looking to try and siege down this left-hand side, or even look for the Gold Fury straight afterwards. They've got the opportunity with Herb still being dead, just respawning now. And they know the Suns are down as well.
2 members in the mid lane that were spotted out, but there is no ward to spot. If they spotted out the rotation from Excellence going to their own speed buff, that Gold Fury was available for Barrage, but instead picking up their own red buff and trying to clean up the wave in the mid lane.
Just going to clear out their own jungle, it seems, more often than not. Speed buff now being started up here by Watson as well. Proxy going to be in range to secure his own speed one more time, and things are going good for Barrage so far in terms of gold. The kills, though, Excellence still hold that lead.
Right side mid Harpies are going to be contested as Awe and Watson are here, forcing out the Sanctuary of Farleez. The Zeus ultimate comes out defensively.
Oh, this could be trouble now for Barrage, because that ultimate coming out from Farleez was great, and now the follow-up is here with the rotation coming in from Odin too. They're looking for multiple picks all over the map here. They will find one onto Proxy, who was isolated and alone, and still Bacchus running for his life, trying to be chased out by the reach, and it gets connected from Turtle there. And now Guan trapped inside the ring of death, and horses do not like being put in the pen. He punished with his life as well. This is an opportunity for Excellence for the Gold Fury.
However, Predators is left alone, and more than likely he's going to take a spill if he can't get away. World Weaver able to confirm the kill, so it has been a 3-for-1 exchange in the favor of Excellence, but the Gold Fury is very low.
And it is very low, but hey, how low is it for them to secure it? They're all worried about Watson coming in, punching him in the head. The Gold Fury goes down to Excellence, but Watson could find some more kills here as they're all trying to run away. And to be fair, it was Predators went alone in the mid lane, and by him dying, there was nobody else there to help support the Gold Fury, which they could have really done with.
That Odin Bird Bomb jump combination would have been enough damage to confirm the Gold Fury very safely. Just a little bit of a miscommunication, misposition coming out of Predators, but still getting the Gold Fury. Still got a win in the team fight overall. It was a 3-on-2, and now Barrage need to find some sort of capitalization off of those 2 picks.
But if Excellence were on the same page there, I mean, they shouldn't have lost Predators. They shouldn't have lost members of the Gold Fury. They could have had the whole team together there, and it would have just dissuaded Watson from walking in there and finding picks.
Well, either way, now Excellence going to have to continue on moving forward. forward. They got a little bit of a win. They have to look forward to the respawn of the next Gold Fury and the next objectives. They need to wash that away in the past and then just make sure that they're a little bit more grouped up in the future.
So you said the last time these two teams played, it was 1-1 between the two Excellence. Did they win game 2 last time? Do you remember?
I believe it was game 1.
Okay, I'm just trying to work out exactly what happened in that game, because it was a similar story to this one we're seeing now, where it's a little bit closer. Excellence are actually starting to find a lot more in these team fights.
They are finding a lot more in these team fights compared to their last set specifically, but Watson going to be engaged on by Lycan, the ultimate, very early on.
Watson under a lot of pressure here, still being chased down, Bird Bomb available, and you can see the forced ultimate away from Watson. But it could have followed that if he wanted to with the jump, but chose not to, which I can understand too, just in case there was a return there, and you can see Elexum was there underneath to make sure that would happen.
Trading the Nemesis ulti for Ravana, very favorable currently for Excellence. Now they can continue on. Once that ultimate refreshes for Nemesis, they can look for the gank yet again.
Well, the pressure in mid lane right now with Elexum showing his face on right. The taunt is available here for Mr. Turtle if he wants to, but Barrage playing very safe at their own tier 1 tower there, recognizing they could be under pressure. It's actually Turtle being forced to dash away.
Just dashing away, not much damage currently at this stage of the game for a proxy, only level 11, but does have the Polynomicon available to him, so he could be doing quite a bit of damage, even to this Athena, unless her passive is up to absorb those in-hands.
And that's kind of when Kuang comes online, right? You get full boots online, she's the Magi, and get your Polynomicon online, and all of a sudden, boom, you're really starting to swing.
Especially against a squishy target. As looking at the dual lane side of things, the Hui was forced to back, and now Guan Yu trying to push the wave, but just going to back instead. Gold Fury is still down currently. Speed buff is available for Barrage, and that's where they're going to go after they clear this mid wave.
Well, we see level 12 starting to be hit, so second relics now coming into play, and you can see Predators on the Odin has picked up that blink, so he's going to be able to initiate a little bit further afield there. Watson about to hit level 12. Sorry, already hit level 12, I should say, and gone for the sprint option here.
And it's a good idea to pick up the blink as soon as possible for the Odin, especially against the Guan Yu. That's going to be the primary target, more than likely, for Excellence, to get rid of the sustain available for Barrage.
Just trap him in that ring, burst him down with the support of Farleez on that Zeus, and apply the pressure for the sustain not to come through. Gold Fury is still down, and a rotation from mid, so the dual lane here, or Bacchus going to come in to meet Elexum. I guess 3 members in mid.
Nice stun coming out of Hu Yi, making sure the Talu Assault would not be able to clear the wave, and now Hu Yi is going to be the one putting the pressure onto the dual lane side of things.
So talk to me about the Hu Yi versus Guan matchup. Who would you rather be?
I would rather be the Hu Yi in that position, because not only can you stop the Guan Yu from using the Talu Assault, every in-hand gets amplified from your Mark of the Golden Crow. So you're just more and more, the later the game goes on, it favors the Hu Yi.
Well, you did see the poke damage coming out there from Excellence with the taunt onto Proxy, and Proxy, well, he's got no real escapes. He's forced to use both relics, going overly aggressive there a little bit, trying to return some damage to Mr. Turtle. It's now costing both of those.
Definitely not worth it currently. A left side mid Harpies has respawned, now Excellence are in a good position. The meditation was used to keep Proxy into this fight, but it's already too late. Excellence able to walk away from that. Not even going to try to go on Oz. The Nemesis ulti is still down.
And now to the right side, Predators and Watson still going at it, both level 13 at the moment. And as we talked about relics coming through, we can see Elexum has gone for the Sanctuary to go with the Purification. And meanwhile, Zeus in the mid lane, played by Farleez, has gone for Purification Sanctuary as well.
Jeroen taking a lot of damage with this rotation from Lycan. The Neith ultimate being used just to deter Nemesis from trying to dive onto Jeroen.
I think they could have found the kill there if they would have kept going. Although he did have meditation available there, so a bit of a bait opportunity was available for Jeroen to get him out of there. Just enough mana for the cavalry charge anyway, even if required.
Always have to take into consideration every single little item and relic when you're trying to gank somebody, especially the Zeus currently that has 14 stacks of the Warlock Sash. So the later this game goes, the more difficult it'll be for Barrage to find the kill. So if they want to pick on the Zeus, it has to be sooner rather than later.
So I was going to say, what do you expect to see come out for Guan Yu Relic this time round? Obviously he's playing the Hunter role. He's going to go for Sanctuary, which kind of makes sense.
It does make sense. He gets trapped inside that Odin cage and the Zeus ultimate to follow up. He needs to buy some time to get out of that cage and then start healing up afterwards, because obviously you cannot heal inside the cage. So saving onto the meditation afterwards.
Save the meditation and conviction. Bam, bam, back to full health. Let's go again. See if we can find the picks. Well, Excellence, they need to recognize that one and make sure that they burn that Sanctuary before they try and trap in and go for the kill on the Guan Yu. Jeron, on this Guan, so far, player damage-wise, 2.4k, and Barrage not very high on that player damage so far. It's been more excellence that way.
Not quite yet, but they still have a lot available in the damage side of things. They have the Zeus, which could easily topple the charts for excellence currently. With Golfier respawning, this next pick is going to be very important for both teams. Mr. Turtle potentially looking for a dash taunt.
I'd like to see Mr. Turtle just go a little bit more aggressive here. He's on the Athena. He's got enough of his taunt maxed up now to just find these taunts, force the purifications. And especially when Proxy just uses purification, they know that. They should just be unleashing this a little bit more often, at least the dashes. But there was an engagement going off in the jungle straight away onto Elexum, looking for the pick. And there's the taunt follow, going to force purification after the Sanctuary. Unravel comes out to give a bit of a heal off and get him away from the danger. Or looking for the belly flop in response. Not going to find it. It's Turtle. Now could be collapsed on by Proxy.
A lot of damage from Farleez is going to be dealt off of that Shea Lightning. Proxy already at half health. The meditation was used now by the Bacchus, trying to keep Proxy inside the mid lane, making sure he doesn't miss out on any waves.
Proxy's baiting. He was hoping for Watson to come round the back, and that's what Watson's going to do. And he's already punching onto Farleez there, and Farleez under a lot of pressure, but a good taunt from Mr. Turtle is going to slow them down from that. Weaver fired off and connecting with Farleez, and that purification actually stopped Proxy from connecting with the damage from the dragons.
That was a beautiful taunt coming out of Athena, preventing the Intoxicate. We heard the chug coming from the Intoxicate, but it was stopped by the taunt, and that bought enough time for the Sanctuary from Zeus. And now with that, Barrage are going to force out the Gold Fury.
Big taunt though coming out from Mr. Turtle, and there's a bird bomb coming down too. The Ring of Roses is down, but Barrage claim first blood. Mr. Turtle falls as now you can see Jeron running for his life, but getting collapsed on by Herp. Herp still looking for the kill, but the cavalry charge is going to play Ring around the Roses and put Herp in an awkward position. But Herp's still alive, flopped on by Orr, still alive under the tower again. Ricochet off the mark, but with Herp coming back out, Watson punches him in the face, and that's the end of the Hunter as well.
That's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Barrage, and now with Elexum being down, that's going to be a 2-for-2. Unfortunately for Excellence, there was no Zeus ultimate to follow up off of that Odin cage. Otherwise, Excellence should have had that fight.
And Excellence still in a good position here, because only Proxy is here to defend. Forced teleport from Watson to come back and help out on this left middle lane as well. And the Gold Fury in the midst of all this still stands, but now, could be trouble for Farleez. Can Athena get here in time is the question. Can she drop the taunt in time? She can, you know. It's Watson under pressure instead. He's going to back away because now he's got Predators swinging round on the Odin, and he's trapped in the ring.
And with the Athena taunt and the jump going to be negated by the overhead kick, but Mr. Turtle does confirm the kill. So now, Excellence, as long as they get healthy, they can force the Gold Fury with just that one player advantage. Watson doesn't respond for another 35 seconds.
Athena all just making such an impact there just to keep his teammate alive. The taunt was on point as well, and just allowed the rotation in for another kill in favor of Excellence. Like I said, Gold Fury is available though. No wall coverage from either team on it at the moment though, although the exits for Barrage to the left towards the Gold Fury are covered by wards from Excellence.
So now Predator is able to push out the soul lane. That tower is at 1% health. That way should be able to clear it out very cleanly here, as there is going to be a little bit of a rotation onto the dual lane. HerpTheDerp might be in a little bit of trouble.
But the flop being down makes it very difficult, which means they have to use the World Weaver, which stuns after he lands. There's the belch coming out too, which doesn't stun because of purification, but cavalry charge will secure the day, and that's just nicely played from the team of Barrage, and that's what you want to do against the Hunter. But now, Predators is on the way over here. Does he have his blink up? He does, you know, but he's not going to follow up just yet. His teammates were not in a position to support.
Beautiful recognition by Barrage, recognizing that the Hu Yi Sanctuary was still down, utilizing all their damage abilities, the Intoxicate, World Weaver, and Cavalry Charge. But now this is going to be risky for them to start the Gold Fury without those 3 important ultimates.
Just keep an eye on Athena, 4-man taunt, and there's a ring onto 4 men too, forcing them all out, and still Jeron trapped in the ring, but he's dropped. The flop from Orr is good, however, and it's going to force Lycan to run away on the Nemesis. Still, Orr is amongst the pigeons here, trying to do what he can, keep his team up. His Predators now has to run away, no ring available for him, and if he tries to leap, he's probably going to get run down.
And now Predators use the shield and jump away, taunt bailing him out of that situation. Elexum finding the kill onto Mr. Turtle. Awe is still going in, flopping up Farleez, but nobody to follow up, and Awe's going to have to disengage. The tier 1 tower of Excellence is going to get sieged.
It is going to get sieged. He's going to fall down too. Gold Fury is still standing, and Barrage could head that way with Conviction coming through from Jeron. They could just sustain back up to full, or even set up a bait round the corner.
The problem with Excellence is they're just not using the Zeus ultimate to follow up with the Odin cage. The last team fight, Odin cage was very early, Zeus was nowhere nearby, and the Zeus ultimate was just halfway out of nowhere.
Well, Cavalry Charge was used by Jeron then, but it only finds the stun in the end. Instead, he took a lot of free poke, has to heal himself out back up. Bird Bomb connecting too, but it did buy his team time for the Gold Fury to be secured for them there. I'm actually not too sure if it did go that way, actually, as down the ult is down with the rings as Farleez picks up Jeron after an extended engagement. Did that Gold Fury go the way of Excellence? It did.
It went in the favor of Barrage.
There we go.
And now with those 2 picks, Excellence slowly need to figure out a way to get back into the game. They're going to siege this tier 1 mid tower. It is a 5-on-3 for the next about 20 seconds as Awe is respawning. This tier 2 could be potentially invaded on, but Predator is going to make a rotation and going to strip the speed buff away from Barrage.
This is an even game. Elexum's here with the Spirit Arrow, not going to find the speed buff though, and Lycan going to return some damage back with that shield to absorb it to 11 to 8. Experience and gold are relatively even here. There's not much between these two teams in game 2.
Not at all. Stripping away 2 buffs away from Barrage is what Excellence needs to do after losing the Gold Fury and finding those 2 picks. Different story from Excel the last set. They weren't able to find those invades despite finding the picks that they needed to after the Gold Fury.
So heading to the late game here between these two teams, who are you favoring just on paper of actual picks here? Because the way this is going, we're probably all going to reach level 20 about the same time, and we're probably still going to be even in gold. So it's going to come down to compositions as well as communication.
I would say Proxy has the most potential for an early pick and being very aggressive, but also Farleez can do a lot of damage as long as he synergizes his ulti very efficiently with Predators. This Guan Yu is going to be in a lot of trouble, and if you look at his build, he has no magical defense for the Zeus.
Very, very good point. And once he gets trapped in the ring, that's his biggest issue. But he's gone full physical here. 3 items now. He's going to be physical protection focused. Is he just looking to pick on Ho Yi more often than not here, not worry about Zeus?
Zoning out the Hu Yi would be a good idea, trying to box him in a 1v1 situation, obviously returning damage with hide in the main line. He's banking on the fact that he has this Sanctuary, trying to buy him enough time to survive the initial burst coming out of Zeus, but in the long run, it's not going to be enough, I feel like.
It's not. He's going to have to be very careful of Farleez on this Zeus, unless his teammates Bacchus and the Kuang can combine to just pick off Farleez before he gets any burst damage off. That could be the big talking point and the big game changer in favor of Barrage here, as Excellence are holding out quite nicely in this game too.
About 21 minutes into the game, Excellence do have a little bit of a lead off of those 2 picks. Despite losing the Gold Fury, they found the 2 picks and the invades, so now they're a little bit in the lead. Not really too much to write home about, but they need to find more picks.
Big surprise by Elexum so far this game. 4-1-3, but his play damage just seems very low for that sort of amount of kills that he's managed to pick up, especially with a Transcendent start that he went with here. Didn't go for that standard golden bow. We've seen a little bit more. Well, we're not going to see it again in the next patch, so, you know, start adapting to the new ways of life, which could be Transcendence once more.
Just trying to get also the MP5 that he needs to sustain in the early parts of the mid laning phase, as there's really not much to take at this stage of the game. Gold Fury's down, all the buffs are down as well as the boars. So both teams are trying to basically find the right wards that they need to spot the other team and maybe find somebody out of position.
And the funny thing is about Barrage here, most of their picks have been on HerpTheDerp over and over again. And, well, there's a guy called Zapman on PC, and Zapman generally feeds to win sometimes because of what happens in the focus he gets. And that's kind of happened in this game to Herp here. His team are staying in it because he's being focused so much. The rest of the team not really dying.
It's called tactical feeding. You're still going to be a Hu Yi with the late game mark of the Golden Crow. You're going to be doing a lot of damage. You have Chinsides online working on your Executioner, so anybody in front of you is going to get melted, even if it's going to be a Guan Yu with 3 physical defense items.
Well, I'm just going to group up in mid lane of Barrage now is the left-hand side because Excellence groups up those mid-harpies that have just respawned once more, continuing to farm up his speed buff now spawns for Proxy to come over and Watson to soak up experience too.
What's interesting about this Guan Yu build is the fact that there's no health on it either, because you don't want to build physical protections against a Nemesis. You want to be building more health. I would love to see a Winged Blade trying to get away from that Nemesis ulti, but instead electing to be able to box this Hu Yi 1v1, going for a Spectral Armor, finishing that off.
So that Spectral Armor will allow him to pop his Relic and walk through the ring as well, correct?
Yes, popping the meditation will allow him now to walk through that Odin cage.
So it's going to give him an extra out of getting away from the danger zone here if he chooses to use meditation or even Sanctuary, because Sanctuary will soak up the damage as he's walking through. Like, peace, boys, I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay in this ring no more. I've had enough. Which is also going to limit some of the options that Excellence have here. We wanted to see Excellence go for that, but is that item choice wise, you reckon, then coming out from Jeron?
We're about to see, because late game, I still expect him to get melted with his Nemesis ulti and the Hu Yi mark of the Golden Crow. So if he gets out of position, even if he uses Cavalry Charge just to engage, that Nemesis ulti and a few shots from Hu Yi is just going to melt him.
Well, he's kind of slowed down all of us in the 23 minutes, and I think the Gold Fury is going to be the next talking point between these two. They've both just continued to farm up and take what jungle they've seen available to them. No engages going on since the last Gold Fury ended up going down a few moments ago in favor of Barrage.
Yes, but Excellence did respond quite beautifully with those 2 picks and 2 invades. As Golfier has respawned now, it does get spotted out by both teams as it does reset the icon in the mini-map. Solanders are just content into farming. The teleport's online for both of them, so not much potential for a power play on that side of things, as both teams still trying to ward around the gold.
And all relatively equal in terms of experience here. Farleez on the Zeus, though, is just about a level ahead of Elexum on that Neith in the mid lane, but everybody else just evening things out across the board so far, as now ward wars will begin around the Gulf Fury.
It's going to be very difficult for Barrage to engage against Excellence. Looking at the build, Zeus finished with a Warlock Sash, 100 stacks currently. Going to be very difficult to lock him down.
We can see the back coming out from Predators here, and it looks like Excellence are going to have to give up this Gulf Fury. Only at the moment is HerpTheDerp that recognizes this, and you can see Athena trying to come in. Mr. Turtle going to look for the taunt and find it. The sun's dropped down. Gulf Fury goes the way of Barrage, however, and now the fight could go a different way. Jeron forced to cavalry charge away. The detonate not enough to secure the kill, and now surrounded is Predators amongst 3. Has to lead to the safety of his team in mid.
Not really much going on. Watson buying some time, zoning a lot of members in the mid lane. Really unfortunate positioning from Excellence, as there's a nice double route into the mid lane. It's going to fall is Mr. Turtle.
And Proxy takes a lot of free poke. Them and Sanctuaries are trying to avoid the detonate damage, but it doesn't come through in the end, so Sanctuary falls down. They find 1 pick and 1 kill as Watson still pressuring mid lane here onto her, but takes a lot of free poke. Predators round on the left hand side, has the bird bomb available and the ring, but he needs to commit soon if he's going to go for it, and he's waiting at the moment for Lycan to turn back up on the Nemesis, and in the end, well, Barrage get a lot of things for completely free there.
Great discipline by Barrage, not overextending into that tier 2 tower, recognizing that the Athena, once she revives, does have the ultimate available. Even when Farleez did back in the mid lane position, it's still very difficult because Predator's ulti is going to be up very often, and when you're trying to disengage, and he's going to prevent you from doing so. So just overall great discipline. Finds the goal here, finds the pick, just reset.
Let's go to the graphs here, and you'll see the difference between the two. It's still relatively even because of the way the fights have actually gone on here. Gulf Fury, I believe, went the way of Barrage, but it was Excellence that were just continuing to farm up and keep that lead that they had after the last one. It just continued to do so over and over again. Still an even game at 25 minutes in. This could be a long one here, Tolly.
Could be. It's pretty even so far. Gulf Fury is being traded 1-for-1 constantly. Picks being traded 1-for-1 as well. It's going to be very dependent. Once these 2 teams start hitting level 20, then that 1 or 2 picks is going to open a fire giant up.
Well, we do see a thing from Farleez coming out here, because last time we saw Elexum play the Zeus in mid in game 1. In game 2, it's been Farleez, and he's gone for the damage option here. But in the jungle, Elexum's in an awkward position, has to backflip away. Now gets support from Jeron, of all people. His Hunter this time round played a Warrior and ended up getting him out of the danger zone. But going back to Farleez anyway, look at this damage build coming out from him here. Now working towards what could be a Soul Weaver or the Book of Thoth.
Gonna barely avoid the ricochet. World Weaver comes on to HerpTheDerp first in the purification, but so much damage from Proxy. Gonna miss the 3rd ability, not allowing him to get into the execute threshold.
The stuns were enough to bring down Proxy. Herp now turns his attention with support coming out from his Athena, but the flop is good from Awe. The Intoxicate absorbed by the Sanctuary though, which is going to allow him to escape. HerpTheDerp will live, and now the turnaround is on. Jeron trying to run away from the chain lightning, taunted back into the ultimate from Farleez as well. Mr. Turtle paying dividends for the side of Excellence, as now they're running through the jungle looking for Watson.
Getting punished for not having that magical defense and being very patient with the detonate, recognizing the Sanctuary was used by the Guan. Watson forced to use his ultimate, but now a little out of trouble is Awe, as the Nemesis ulti already back up, could potentially engage with a nice taunt.
But the shell actually comes out as well, and they realize to disengage with Elexum being back in the mid lane here as well, and that did not work out well for Barrage at all. Proxy was looking for the pick, didn't find it. In the end, he just sat in the suns and enjoyed the heat.
He just missed that one ability that he needed to get the Hui into the execute threshold, and in response, Excellence finds an early pick in that team fight, and it was also a good counter rotation out of them with the Nemesis and the Zeus capitalizing on this no magic defense.
Look at this, they're going for Fire Giant here, Excellence, but Barrage recognize it. Will Excellence contest?
They have to do something. Fire Giant's a little bit less than half. Going to find a double taunt. Awe taking a little bit of poke. Bird Palm not connecting onto Elexum. A lot of trouble is the Hui jumping back into the Fire Giant ring.
Good ring, but the Fire Giant does go down, and it goes the way of Excellence, and they're all trying to disengage, but the World Weaver comes out to Lycan, who gets out as well. Still going to the back. It's Watson punching people to slow them down, and he's actually going to be able to secure 1 kill for his team for Proxy to pick up Herp. Now they're looking for a second, and Watson claims that onto Lycan. Still on the front side is Predators trying to create a zone. They're going to be okay with that, though, because they still get 2 for the Fire Giant.
The Sanctuary was used absorbing that Bird Bomb. Proxy trying to turn around. Zeus ultimate is good, but the Water Illusion is available. Detonate not available quite yet. Sanctuary was used by the Neith to get away. So even though Fire Giant was secured by Excellence, they lose 2 members in the process. So good capitalization from Barrage at least.
I think if you look at that, the gold graphs you can see it's relatively still even between the two teams. Experience still even. It's only 3 members with the Fire Giant, but it's not the members you want the Fire Giant on, really, is it? You want the damage dealers to have that there, Tori.
Well, one of them is Farleez on the Zeus, so he's going to be able to do a lot with that Fire Giant. Having the Soul Reaver available with the Warlock Sash fully stacked, you don't want to even try to go through onto him. He has just too much health. You need to be able to try to kill the front line potentially that's going to overextend. And
you actually see a Barrage there. They chased in deep looking for the kills, and in the end, they didn't even manage to strip the jungle on their exit there. They were so worried about the pressure coming out from Excellence, so they get their own jungle, and the Gold Fury coming up means that Excellence, with those Fire Giants, they should be able to just pressure that one for free.
Especially as, like, if they synergize this Odin-Zeus combination in the late game with Water Lucian being down, Proxy will fall very quickly. His Sanctuary is down as well as the Neith, so Excellence have to be aggressive and capitalize off that.
Well, they've got 3 members around there right now. The other 2 heading through the jungle towards the mid lane right now to group up and just clear the wave out. As Jeron is the only one defending this Gold Fury at the moment, has to wait for his teammates, really. They need to bring Awe over here, I want to say, on this Bacchus to try and contest, but it might be too little too late, as it's already gone down.
Excellent securing the Gold Fury at this stage of the game. Not really too much to separate away from Barrage. Levels are pretty even at this stage, even though Excellence has a little bit of a gold lead. They do have Fire Giant with 3 members. Lycan with the speed has to be aggressive in this position. Like we mentioned, there are 2 Sanctuaries down on Barrage.
And one team fight could spell the end for either team here. The respawns get longer as the game goes on. World Weaver, very early channel there coming out from Elexum. I don't think he really waited to pull the trigger.
He wanted to put the Odin in combat to not allow the blink to happen. Well, but now Aw's in a lot of trouble.
Aw's on his own. Awe is already dead. To the backside goes Watson, trying to deal with Farleez on the Zeus. And he's got support from Jeron, but they're going to keep running him down. He's already used Purification and Sanctuary, but still Farleez stands tall. But for how long is the question? Juking in amongst his teammates. Farleez falls to Elexum as the taunt comes out from Mr. Turtle as well, trying to slow them all down as Barrage are trying to push on with the convictions, with the meditations. They're fighting into the 4 men of Excellence.
The longer this team fight goes, the better it is for Barrage. With that Guan use sustain and losing Farleez is a lot of damage for Excellence to counteract that, forcing the Purification out of Elexum. Now Watson is going to go down, so now it's going to be aggression coming out of Predators, and Mr. Turtle could potentially find this taunt. There is no Purification on Elexum.
And there's 3 members of Barrage very low, having to run for their lives now. The conviction comes out, but there's the ultimate from Nemesis. The route is good to slow him down, but in the ring is Jeron, and he can walk out, though, using the nice ability from the Relic to continue running away from the team. Still being chased in the jungle, though he is, but they're all so low. They've got to be careful about overextending here, Excellence, because this could get turned around on them, and you know what? It will, as Elexum picks up HerpTheDerp in response.
And now there is a rotation coming back after the Bacchus has respawned. Proxy could potentially keep chasing this with Awe finding or trying to find the belly flop. Both members from Excellence are very low, and Proxy going to chase this down.
He's going to slow them down. That's the big thing here. Predators has to run away, use the launch, last of his mana, and Proxy looks like he's thinking about continuing to commit there as now Lycan comes in. So Mr. Till comes in, gets hit by the World Weaver coming through. Not enough damage from the Intoxicate or the Unravel for the kill, and now it's Awe in trouble under the tower too. Farleez going to get some good damage up, but it's not enough for the kill. Proxy does fall to Lycan. There was the Bird Bomb one more time from Predators, who's completely out of mana here. He's trying to pick up the kill on Awe. Good route coming out from Elexum. Good slow coming out from Lycan. That'll secure 1, and now it could be death for Elexum too.
Such crazy back and forth action between both these 2 teams. First it was Barrage, and now it's looking like Excellence are going to be the better ones with Watson rotating again. Now Lycan's in a little bit of trouble, but it's going to pop the bubble and going to stun Watson from being able to chase. So beautiful pickup, picking up that Mantle of Discord for Lycan.
All that fighting though, nothing actually happened in this game. If you go to the graphs, you'll see they stayed brilliant. Actually, I lie. Excellence ended up coming up on top massively in that engagement. They found so much golden experience from that.
At this stage of the game, the experience is negligible. Gold at the 32-minute mark, 4,500. It could be a lot worse for Barrage. They're still able to defend off of the aggression from Excellence. They could maybe defend their tier 2 tower. As long as they're consistently holding back the Odin from caging in this Guan Yu, which he can easily walk away from now with his Spectral Armor, then he's in a good position to consistently heal as long as he survives that initial burst.
Well, Fire Giants just spawned and already be started up by HerpTheDerp here. Unfortunately, though, Farleez was not here on the Zeus just yet. They should be trying to do this, knowing that there was 2 members at the time of Barrage dead. Now only 1 with Elexum about to respawn will have his World Weaver available to impact this fight if required.
Odin should be looking for an early cage onto this Guan Yu, forcing a relic being used. Gonna find it onto Watson instead, but it doesn't matter because that Odin cage is gonna come up very shortly, having that Breastplate of Valor online with the Mantle of Discord.
They do also steal away the speed buff and all going aggressive again, but now gets taunted in, and the backup from Farleez is there with the ultimate coming through as well. Elexum back to the fight. The cavalry charge from Jeron on point, looking for the target that is Zeus. They need to bring him down as the sun's rained down now from Herp to keep his Zeus alive.
Lycan eating the World Weaver. A lot of damage onto Jeroen and to Watson as he's going to disengage. Jeroen being the first victim of this team fight, and now Excellence are trying to continue on. A nice stun from Awe, but he's very low as he belly flops away. Beautiful route from Elexum should be allowing him to disengage.
But still Awe on the run as a teleport comes out from Watson, now back to the tier 2 tower on the right hand side, which is still at full health. Watson going to punch a little bit onto Turtle, but now Watson's getting bursted heavily by Farleez, and that magical damage trapped in the ring he is. Can he get away in time? No, he cannot. Herp with the in-hand will secure the kill. Ricochet on the mark from Herp for a double kill for him. Ho Yi is starting to go off.
3 members dead on the side of Barrage, and with that, Excellence should be able to get this tier 2 tower no problem. Athena did back, does have her ultimate available, so they're more than likely going to force out this Fire Giant with Athena tanking.
They're going to take the blue buff on the way first of all, and you can see Predators has to go back to base, no teleport available for him. So it's only going to be 4 members here of Excellence to do this one. 2 members coming back from Barrage though, or not recognizing it at the moment. It's only going to be Elexum to turn up here. What can Elexum do on this? Can he steal it with a Spirit Arrow? No, he cannot. Fire Giant to Excellence, and Elexum has to backflip away.
So beautiful recognition from Excellence that they have this timing window, go straight to the Fire Giant after the tier 2 tower. This should allow them to group up and easily get this remaining 2 tier 2 towers and then the Phoenixes. The way they initiated that last team fight, forcing out the ultimate early on from Watson, didn't allow him to disengage from the second Odin cage, and that's exactly what Excellence have to capitalize on.
They've made a composition this time around, Excellence. Like game 1 we said, they've got a lot of setup potential here for a big boom, but this time around it's like they've got a lot of setup, but at the same time they could just do it themselves. They don't need to have setup all the time to secure these things. Across the way though, Barrage have run a very jank composition, I want to say. I mean, obviously with the Guan Yu and the Bacchus in the duo lane, and then you've got a Ravana in the solo, and then an out Kuang is your major magical dealer. It's very difficult for you in a game like this to try and run that. A little bit, maybe just didn't work out.
They just didn't capitalize on the Hu Yi enough into the duo lane. You have an aggressive Bacchus Guan Yu with a World Weaver coming out of the mid lane. Could have been capitalized on a little bit more. I believe there was 1 or 2 kills onto the Hu Yi early on, but just not enough pressure to get some Gold Furies.
He was 2-5 at one point, but now HerpTheDerp is 7-7, climbing in the power damage done as well, play damage done as well, 25k. 10k still though behind Farleez and the Zeus, and that's the issue. Picking off the Zeus, who has only died once so far this game. Taunt comes out from Mr. Turtle, looking for 2. Not going to find anything though at the end of that one. The ring is down, however, from the backside from Predators to isolate multiple members, and still Farleez not really involved in the action on the left. Not getting a lot of poke out. It's the team of Excellence takes a lot of free poke in response.
Guan Yu was forced out using his Spectral Armor to disengage. Now has enough health to go in with the cavalry charge, but not until Watson falls, and now Jeroen having to disengage.
The damage from Farleez was so good. A blink in from Predators to set up the front line, and there's Farleez with the chain lightning. It's going to come off. A good taunt from Mr. Turtle to follow that one up as well. Bird Bomb comes down, but doesn't manage to find anything. Tier 2 tower going to fall. Excellent marching on towards the Phoenix. Are they going to find a split here, Totally?
They could easily. They still have 5 members with Fire Giant after taking off Watson, which is a heavy frontliner for Barrage. This could be a very easy victory and a split for Excellence.
And so what we saw in that last engagement too is that 4 members of Excellence were all grouped up in mid. Farleez sat in the jungle and just held around there, didn't do anything. And then when they all committed, he comes in with all this damage and bursts all the targets down straight away. You can see Barrage are trying to commit, but when they commit, they end up dying as well.
He learned very quickly off of his earlier death, and now only 2 picks coming on the side of Excellence, and this should be game potentially. They don't even have to go on the left-hand side if they don't want to.
They're going to play it safe here and go for the right-hand Phoenix as well. Respawns are a little bit long here, 50 seconds on 2 of them, and maybe they recognize that one now. They probably just called it out. Bird Bomb for Predators on the mark. Forced to backflip away is Elexum there, as Lycan was going in as well, looking for the extra pressure, but now the Titan is under threat. Is this going to be 1-1? Will Excellence split again with the leaders Barrage? Things are hotting up in Europe right now as Excellence finds another win against Barrage. Split, boys.
Second time in a row that Barrage has split with Excellence, now committing into a 9-on-3 position. They're still tied with Rival because they do have the win head-to-head, winning 3 out of those 4 games. But if they want to continue this lead, they're going to need to respond to Excellence in the future weeks.
It's true. I mean, they're 6-6 now, Excellence, as well. They're doing a very good job of this so far, just keeping themselves going.
A lot of players in both teams, I would say, played very well. You know, game number 1 compared to game number 2. Elexum with the Zeus just playing lights out.
I mean, a lot of them had a good impact in this game over again. Elexum here at the start of the game combated nicely with Proxy early on in that game 1. Zeus was a big talking point, though, I think, between the two games. Obviously, Elexum played at game 1, had a great game on this. And then game 2, we also saw the same sort of thing coming out from Farleez.
Farleez, game number 2, when he made that heavy rotation onto the blue buff with that bird bomb combination off of that. That was the huge turning point in that second game for Excellence to kind of snowball off of.
His position in this game from Farleez was very, very good, though. We saw game 1 on the Yarnis, he just got caught out a couple of times, but this time, position pretty much on point, allowing his team, you just wait for his team to go in, really, and then set him up, and his team did a very good job peeling for him to allow this Zeus to get maximum damage out.
And I like the ability picking up the Warlock Sash, as well as Lycan just being always aggressive in that second game, which he needed to do for his team, and to allow this Zeus to follow up.
But he's doing the right thing. Like, if you notice with him, he's been like heading to the back, sneaking in, getting some damage off on targets that weren't expecting him at the last moment, and then allowing his team to capitalize because of it.
And because of that, now Excellence splitting with Barrage are still 6-6 currently. Still number 3, but they could easily overtake Barrage soon if this pattern continues.
Look at that. The gap between 4th and the rest of the pack is definitely far afield, but things are still hard at the top. Only 3 games behind now are Excellence at actually hitting that number 1 spot at the moment. If they continue like finding these small wins, they could actually continue to climb.
There's still 3 more weeks available, so...
Well, don't forget, we still got more Smite action coming for you on Monday. The Smite Console League will continue with Elevate up against Kingdom Esports, and obviously Saw G2A up against Most Wanted Esports as well.
And that's going to be on Monday, but for Saturday and Sunday, we do have the 3v3 Joust series that's going to be
going off once again. The Summer Joust series continuing 2nd to the 31st, and you can tune in once again at twitch.tv/hi-rez.tv. Jeez, I'm having a bad day with words today. I'm sorry.
That's right, I have a headache, man.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Casting with me must give you a headache. Anyway, guys, that's it from us today. Obviously, tune in tomorrow for the Smite Summer Joust series, as well as Monday for some Smite console action. Have a wonderful weekend.